Now I get to share this with you, which is the best part.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with your crown chakra,
Okay.
and I'm going to give you what it's supposed to do, what happens when it's compromised, and what I saw for you. So the crown chakra is your connection to your higher self, your divine self, your openness to receiving divine love, your ability to be fully present in each moment, and your capacity, to connect with your intuition, your psychic ability in the mystical realm. When it's compromised, it can feel like issues with feeling worthy, self-doubt, and trust issues, feeling like you're unlovable, overly focused on outer appearances in life, greatly concerned about details of your life and past life traumas that are showing up, being persecuted or unloved. And what I saw for you, I mean, I could have written a novel of what I saw at Crown Chakra, but this is what I wrote down. I wrote, she's creating, manifesting in this regal, like Cleopatra type energy, surrounded by your guides, guardian angels, and spirit helpers. And I wrote, you're an ascendant attendant. So you're helping people ascend, and you're
Oh,
the attendant for that ascension.
I love that.
I've never heard those words together before, so I really like that too. You're an ascendant to attendant. That's what showed up. So what when I'm saying Cleopatra-like energy, it's not really Egyptian. It's just this regal energy, and great costuming, by the way, because you're in your brand color. And I'm like, am I watching the movie Cleopatra? What's going on? And it was just really like very detailed and lots of, opulence, and just that crown energy was just really rising, really beautiful. Deep violet color on that crown chakra. On the third eye chakra, this is your capacity to utilize your connection with your intuition, your psychic ability, the mystical realm, being open and allowing yourself to see situations in your life, your ability to discern what's going to support your overall well-being and spiritual development, your ability to perceive energies and then be capable of shifting them. When this is compromised, it feels like you're unsure of what's the best idea to pursue, kind of confusion, feeling like you're working really hard, not getting results. Everything's supposed to be done a certain way. Burnout happens here because you try everything and it doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. And then a sense of feeling trapped with no idea how to move forward. What I saw for you was you were excitedly climbing in a lighthouse. And in the lighthouse, like you're looking through each window that you get to, and you're like, oh, I'm even higher now. And you're really excited looking out the window, seeing each view. You get to the top, you go outside, you take a big breath, you take it all in, and you're ready. That's what I got. You are ready. And that's pretty cool for third eye. I used to wonder, why am I always seeing a lighthouse? And then I realized right on the top of my desk here, I have this sculpture that my sister gave me of a
That is
lighthouse.
beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
That is,
And it has a little chip in it, but how do they do that? I don't know.
I have
And
no
it
idea.
sits right about the level of my third eye. So one day I was like, oh, that's why. But it also does make sense because you want to get the big picture. You're going to use your third eye. You want to see which direction to go. You want to be at a place where you can see that level of, well, when you fly over Iowa, it looks like a quilt in the summer because it's all farms and patchwork. But when you see it in the winter up close, it looks pretty dead. So it's nice to have that perspective on things. And you absolutely have that. When we go to throat chakra, this is where things start to change a little bit. This is your level of personal expression, your level of truthful expression, your flow, blockage, or will for your divine power to manifest what you desire, how much you're blocking or claiming your divine authority and past life issues of being persecuted and or killed for personal or truthful expression. When this is compromised, it can feel like people take advantage of you. This is the people pleaser one, where you can feel unheard, not validated, unloved. It's painful to ask for what you want, or even unable to ask for what you want. Finding it nearly impossible to be yourself completely, and people pleasing keeps you feeling victimized. What I saw for you in throat chakra was that 4-year-old was stopped up, was free like a bird before then, and then that whatever that incident was, and I got verbal abuse from somebody in authority, but not a parent, not one of your parents. I said, was this like a systemic belief? And I got a yes on that too. And that's when not enough came in.
Oh, yeah.
So
That
it
is
came,
when I.
yeah, yep. You got programmed into I'm not enough.
Mhm.
And um, so that's when you got put in the box.
Mhm.
And so some of that is, that which we resist persists. So when people say, oh, I'm going to be a better parent than my parent was, just as an example, and their parent was terrible, and they fight so hard not to be like that, but then they're kind of like the opposite of that, which is almost as bad. So it's kind of like that feeling like, how far can I go with this and still, like end up being joyful?
Mhm.
So I understand you've done a lot of work on this because that's not what's showing up to people initially. That's not how you present.
Mhm.
And so you've had to do a lot of work to be able to do what you do now.
Mhm.
So that's congratulations on that and good work because it's showing up. That throat chakra though is green. It's supposed to be blue.
Mhm.
So there's something going on there that that as you, so there's a couple different things I see in throat chakra. A lot of times I'll see people getting killed because they're doing something, they're speaking truth to power.
I have a feeling of either being stabbed right here or
Mhm. Yeah, and I think also what happened when you were 4 is that verbal abuse hit you there too.
Mm-hmm. Got
And
it.
so, yeah, there's something about that. I kind of feel like scratchy throat right now while I'm talking to you about it.
Yeah.
Um, so let's move to heart chakra. We can always come back to that. Heart chakra is your allowing of your free flowing and receiving, giving, your ability to be fully open, authentic, and vulnerable, your level of being able to commit to relationships, setting boundaries, your oneness with life, your unity with life, your spiritual center of deep knowing and connection with spirit. Your When it's open and flowing, it's a manifestation superconductor, and past relationship wounds can show up in current relationships here. When this is compromised, it feels like you need to save everybody. You need to save people. You need to save the world. Money can feel hard to manifest with ease and joy. Distrust that you're really going to be supported, nurtured, and loved by others. And difficulty sometimes in receiving. So a lot of times I'll ask people, can you take a compliment?
Mm-hmm.
And some people say no, they can't.
Mm-hmm.
I said, do you say if somebody says, oh, that's a really pretty top, do you go, oh, this whole thing? Do you?
Uh, no, but a lot of times I'll go,
Good.
I got such a deal.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just,
because you value that hunting and the finding of it, that's the thing that you get it, but it's really how it's how it's showing up on you. So be careful about that. Difficult to,
know that that is a subtle devaluing. I try to.
yes. Yeah, yeah. So shutting out opportunities to do expansive things to do to protecting your heart, and then joyful and spontaneous living becomes shut down and blocked
Mhm.
when it's really shut down. Okay, so here's what I saw for you. Green heart chakra, which is what it's supposed to be. There's a heart-shaped garden, and the gate to it is heart-shaped.
Mhm.
And it's covered with green vines. It's really beautiful. And when you go inside, all the flowers are pink. There's pink peonies, there's pink roses. Every flower is pink. Green, heart chakra is green and pink, right? So
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
But there's an area in the garden for compost, as
Mhm.
any good gardener would have. And right next to that area is where the wound is. That
Mm,
wound is right near where everything is going to be turned into compost.
mhm,
And it still sits there. So it's not getting composted. It's not turning itself.
mm,
It's like, it's almost as if you said, I'm just going to put this right here by this, and eventually I'll throw it into the pile,
mm,
but it's still sitting there.
mhm.
It's sort of one of those things that we say, yeah, yeah, I'll get to that. Like, I'm going to clean out this closet behind me, and I'll do like two things, and then I'll go, yeah, I don't feel like doing this anymore. It's
This,
bringing up too much stuff.
and this is the thing that for the last 3 days, I have been every scrap of it to the compost pile that I can. So that's what I'm working on.
That's cool. It's almost like you're like running right ahead of me. So I'm telling you what I'm seeing, but I'm lagging a little bit behind where you are at in a way.
Oh, but that's interesting and really helpful because when you're in this process, you never know. You're just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna throw paint at the wall.
Exactly.
See what
Yeah.
happens. This is super helpful. And that
Yeah.
composting metaphor is lovely.
Thank you. That's what's showing up. Compost. The compost pile is the wounding that has been kept. It's next to the compost. It's not in it yet. It needs to go in there. That's what we do when we're working 101 is we're getting that compost into that. We're getting that wound opened up, get the air to it, shovel it out, throw it in the compost so it can degrade with everything else and make rich soil. And as I was saying this morning with Connie, everything's happening for us, not to us. And the way that you transmute the energy of that wound is you look for where the blessing is in it.
Mhm.
Years ago, we had a baby. Our first baby was stillborn. And I had to decide whether I believed that everything happens to the highest good or not.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, I don't like not believing that because that's a pretty depressing road. So let me believe it and show me the good. Bring it on. I want to see it. And all I had to do was look to my left, and there was my husband sitting there helping me breathe because they over medicated me. So I'd breathe out and I wouldn't breathe in. And he'd say, take a breath, honey. And I go, oh, okay. Oh, that was a lot of work. And then I'd exhale for like 3 minutes and then, or whatever it was. And then he'd say, take another breath. So having that and my sister-in-law on the other side helping me push, and my in-laws coming in, and a couple of friends from school. I was just about to graduate from chiropractic college at the time. And, making that decision, okay, I'm going to believe, count it all joy. James 1:2, count it all joy. I'm going to do that. And now I want to see. But you got to seek it out and you have to knock and the door will be opened and you have to seek and you'll find. You can't just sit there. So the action has to be taken.
And I do know what the gift is.
Yes, yes. And there's probably more than that too.
Well,
Because
it protected me because I came here wide open.
yep.
And without that, I would have been wide open for far more dangerous things.
Yeah. 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 So it's good. I mean, this is the work that you're doing, and so it's showing up here. Let's go to the solar plexus. Isn't that nice to see? Solar plexus is called that because it's yellow because of the myelin around the nerves. So yellow solar and plexus because plexus means braid, and it's a whole tangle of nerves there called the brain for your body. That's what we call it in anatomy because if you get punched there, it can kill you. So that's why no punching below the belt, because that's where the solar plexus lives. So that's why the boxers wear their belts up really high. So what I'm seeing here is actually red when it's supposed to be yellow. And this is this is I'm going to tell you about Power Center. It's your capacity to stand in your authentic and infinite power. It's your level of self-esteem. It's your ability to set boundaries in relationships. It's your blockage slash victim slash powerfulness versus just flowing your divine power and willing versus allowing things to happen. When this is compromised, it can be fear about becoming visible in a big way, fear of unworthiness of shining your light, fear about using your gifts, your capacities, and your abilities, feeling unable to find a way for greater flow and power and ease in manifesting your desires, and lack of clarity about what you're here to do, also feeling lost about how to get moving forward. What I saw for you was a red chakra, which is the root chakra, but solar plexus is supposed to be yellow. And I wrote down anger burning up the sacral chakra. Let it be the fuel. Let it be the fuel. It's actually the solar chakra, and I wrote sacral chakra. So there's some mix up going on right here. And then I asked, how long has this been going on? Is it lifetimes? And I got a no. Is it generations? Yes, 7 generations of this. This anger that is misplaced into solar plexus instead of where normally we see it in the sacral chakra. So there's something that needs to be cleared up about that. And I kept seeing myself doing healing touch on you and spreading out this chakra, just spreading it out. Like, let's get this, but let me go on because it's really interesting how this shows up. So sacral chakra is all about your spontaneous and present moment expression in your life, your relationship issues, your relationship with your emotions, because we like to stuff them in the sacral chakra when we don't want to deal with them. Sexual energy, libido, creative flow, controlling things versus letting go. When this is compromised, it can feel like creative projects don't get off the ground. You feel like full creative expression is frightening. Belief that your creative impulses or your childlike self is not financially viable, and feeling like you're the one that has to get everything done perfectly for it to be successful, which perfection is the killer of dreams. And your productivity and success in your business are lacking or devoid of joy and fun. Well, that's not happening because you're having lots of fun. And what I saw here was this confusion of the energy tangled up that needs to be spread out. And this is the image, like a sheet on the grass to be exposed to the sun and the air so it picks up that sweetness, that smell of sweetness. You know, when you hang clothes out on the line, they smell better. That, the sweetness of life. So spreading this out, these 2 chakras in particular that are kind of all mixed up together. Am I getting it?
So I am very, very deep in my yoga practice. It's not Lululemon yoga.
Mm-mm.
And when I was 18, I slid down the steps and that knocked my sacrum out of alignment, and it stayed there until about 10 years ago when I
Wow.
found the chiropractor who knew how to undo it without breaking my tailbone, which is what everybody went, oh, we're going to have to break your tailbone. And I'm like, So now in my yoga practice, my trainer, the woman who trains me, I'm in a level 4 training. And what we are talking about is because of the unpacking of the hip, getting the sacrum back in alignment is now pulling the chakras, and it's those lower 3. First, we worked on getting 1 and 2 to have any space between them.
Mhm.
And now we're working on pulling 3 back and up and into alignment because it was evidently forward trying to compensate for this jam.
This makes so much sense from reading this, and I'm getting goosebumps from that because that really does describe what I was seeing. Interesting. Like just spreading it out like that and being able to have
Spreading
the,
them out like this.
yeah, and having the feeling of the anger that's there because of what happened all throughout these 7 generations. You're not just healing yourself. So root chakra, which is your safety and trust issues with life itself, your willingness to be grounded and in your body, traumas affecting your ability to do that, and relating to your overall self-esteem. What I saw was very deep roots and happy to be human, happy to be in the body, loves all the colors, all the emotions, all the experiences, feeling safest at home in the body, but it's okay to transcend too. That's okay. So it's all good in root chakra. So you've done a good job with that. Because I'm just getting like, well, okay, is she angry about how hard it is to be? This is the compromise part. Anger about how hard it is to be human? Nope. Feeling like she doesn't belong in her body? No, she really likes being in her body.
I think the
Mhm.
body is a powerful, sacred tool for our awakening.
It's our temple.
Yeah.
It's where our spirit lives, so it's our temple.
Oh, and at the deepest level of what tantric practice is
Hmm.
philosophically, it is a cosmicizing of the body. We are actually, the practices are meant to divinize the body.
Which makes total sense that you're doing that. And I'm seeing this at root chakra, but I'm still seeing sacred and sacrum and solar plexus still stuck together. When that happens, when those get really realigned, your heart chakra is going to open even more. And because think of it like this, the root chakra is like the basis for the campfire, it's the kindling, it's the logs. The sacral chakra is the fire, and the third chakra, solar plexus, the power center, is the heat coming off of that that gives you the impetus to do things. So when that's all aligned, yeah, you're gonna go like a house fire. And you're already doing it. So yeah, makes total sense. So that's your scan.
How amazing. One, you can't make this stuff up.
I mean, that's kind of what it feels like I'm doing. And that's actually, if I feel like I'm making it up, that means I'm really right on it.
Right,
Because,
but
yeah.
and it's a really wonderful confirmation that, because sometimes when you're someone who's had to work really hard,
Mhm.
you always work really hard and you always think that the goal is way out in the distance. And I think that all of it was able to speed up because it knew I was going to get this confirmation that, yeah, it's
Mhm.
all working. And here are the things to focus on to get it all in alignment. And
Yeah. Yeah. Sacral and solar plexus or power center, we call it too, and
Mhm.
throat chakra. And
And
as those lower three get back to where they're supposed to be and normalized and energized, then everything else. I mean, those first three chakras are determining how you are in the world, really. And everything else is like a reflection of things that have happened to us in a certain way. Then when we get up to like third eye and crown chakra, it's like, okay, where's source coming in? This is where I'm going to be beaming it out, and this is where I'm going to be collecting it. So sometimes when I'm looking at crown chakra, I see a fountain, and the fountain will be like really, it's a big dish. And sometimes the water will be dribbling over the edge. Sometimes it'll be shooting up from the middle. Sometimes it won't be moving. Sometimes it'll be dry. And it's okay to see all of those things because that's crown chakra, that's third eye chakra. Those are all where we want to go with that. But I often find that people need to work on those first three. That's the most work that we do. So when I'm working one-on-one with people, we're getting into what's okay, so what happened at four? Let's go through that and let's clear up whatever's left about that for now, because it's an ongoing process. We don't end, okay, well, I got over the stillbirth of my son and now I'm fine. It's like I'm going to get a new level of understanding about that every, 5 years or whatever. And it's going to hit me differently and different at different times. So it's not that you're going to be done and finished. We're not that until flatline. Then we're done and finished. So
then we just start over somewhere else.
we just start over somewhere else, or we go to heaven and we just enjoy that. So that's fine too. We can do whatever you believe. I don't know anybody personally that's come back from the dead except for like one person. And he said he was going to come back from heaven. So that's the only one I know of. But I've
Maybe.
had personal experience with hypnotherapy where I've died uh, under hypnosis
Mhm.
and encountered other beings that are just beautiful lights and saying, well, that looks like fun. I'd like to do that. No, it's not your time. So who knows? My favorite bumper sticker is, I might be wrong. I could be wrong. It's okay.
You know, we're all trying to explain the transformation of subtle energy.
Mhm.
There are a million ways to say it.
Yep.
And, you know, the did you get anything, any indication of what the seventh generation thing was?
Well, a lot of times what I find is it's through the female.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm asking about this, let me ask. Yeah, seven mothers back.
My great grandmother, I know, was a product of the Native American genocide. So she, and this is very common right now, that people my age can trace back, especially African Americans, trace back to a great grandmother who was Native. And what
Mhm.
happened was when they brought the African men here, they rounded up the Native men and took them back to the islands, all as part of the way to eliminate the Native gene pool.
This
So
is
these,
so frustrating after so long that they're still afraid of people that are different. And I can't understand. So for people like you and me, it's hard for us to understand why we would be so fearful of somebody that looks different. Like we would think, oh, cool, they are different. Not, they're different.
what do they do?
Yeah, what do they do? Let's find out. Oh, that's pretty cool. Wow, you have that belief. That's really interesting. I wonder how that works for them. And I've heard this a lot that people listen, there isn't anybody in this country who hasn't come here from another place because of famine, war, or no money, no means, or they've been killed off, natives, or they've been kidnapped and brought here to be slaves. So there is just blood all over the place. And the fact is that we're trying to we're not trying to, we are raising the vibration of the planet. The vibration of the planet is happening without us, whether we want it to or not. And so why not just get on board with it and go with the higher vibration as opposed to trying to stay the same, which is what we're seeing right now politically. There are people that want us to go backwards and stay the same. And now we're seeing how people really feel about that. And it's not the majority. It's definitely not the majority. So when we're seeing this and we're saying people are upset about what they're seeing on the news and all that, they should be. It's upsetting.
Yeah.
But the fact is that they're not reporting on how many groups do you know of? I can count 5 right off the top of my head. Groups of women who are trying to raise the vibration for each woman and helping each other and raising the vibration for each other so that we can stop this nonsense and have the matriarchal society that we should have been having all along.
Probably learn the lessons of the past, because matriarchy out of balance is like patriarchy out of balance, a bad idea.
We
So
want the balance.
yes,
And yeah, we don't need to erase the history. We don't need to, like, what they're doing is trying to make the people fight against each other
yeah, it's divide and conquer.
because then they win.
Yes, absolutely. They take it straight out of the Book of Empire.
Exactly.
And you
So
know, I realized early on after I collected myself, you know, King and Gandhi did not choose nonviolence as a first choice. They were stuck in a no-win situation. The British would have annihilated the Indians. Their
mhm,
only choice was to go higher than Michelle Obama.
mhm.
And I got loud and clear that my only true power here is to keep my vibration as high as possible. Now, the truth,
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing that we can do and help people do that. So when I'm working with people one-on-one, that's what we're doing. We're clearing out that old stuff So for instance, we would clear out, like I said, the 4-year-old thing that happened, make sure that we've got a handle on that, then move forward and see what else needs to happen, and always inviting source to share, to show us what are we doing? Show me what we need to do. So my prayer before we start is give me the words to tell Sharada what needs to happen for her. What's going to help her today? So it's basically just let it come through me. I'm the vessel, and let me give you information that you could use that will
Yeah.
help you in the future too. Um, there was something else I was going to say, but now I can't remember. There's a card on my desk I recently got from a branding company that says your life unfolds in proportion to your courage. And you have a lot of courage. And so do all of us that are doing this work. We have to. And
Yes.
sometimes it's really easy to go hide, and I love to go hide. It's my favorite thing to do. Go down in the basement and do my yin yoga on the floor. That's me hiding, but it's also me raising the vibration for myself so I can go out and do the things that I do. Like I'm going to go out and sing tonight, and I sang on Monday night. And having being at the vibration where it feels like I'm helping instead of like it's just me out here doing this for ego reasons. That's not what it's about.
You
It's
know
about
you're
bringing healing.
you know you're a music therapist, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Most people don't know that, but yeah.
Yeah. And so how wonderful to know that you're going to go in. My father guru is a famous music therapist. And, he started off playing Indian music. His mother taught him how to sing for the plants. He was like, well, if we can do this to the plants, how about we help people?
Mm-hmm.
And so you are that.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. And Healing with the Blues is all about that because, you know, music is healing, it's vibration, and that's what heals. So we want to get into that vibration and let it happen. And that's what you're doing too. So we're all in this concert together, playing the instruments that we know to play. This one, people say, what instrument do you play? I go, this one. This is my instrument. So we can actually have that happen for other people. So we're subconsciously, unconsciously giving them permission to do likewise.
And
And I know when I get up and sing, I'm singing for all the women who are sitting there wishing that they could get up and do that.
Mhm.
Because not everybody can overcome that fear.
No, it's the biggest fear still.
Oh yeah, people put it above death.
Yeah.
Public speaking, public speaking and public singing.
And
Eh,
it's a real gift if you don't have that fear. And that was one I'd never had of. Uh,
Yeah.
but what is one of the most beautiful takeaways of having this process done is that when you have, like we have, been in transformational growth process for as many decades as we have, it is really nice to hear that some of it has really taken.
Yeah. Isn't that a nice confirmation? Oh, so this really did work for me? Yeah, it really did. If I had read your chakra energy at a much earlier date, it would be different because you've been working on this. So yeah, it's really good. And sometimes when I'm reading it after I've been working with someone for a while, it's like, well, I'll have to go deeper to find what's going on because this is not deep enough to see anything that's happening that's negative. And sometimes that's all it is. Oh yeah, this is every chakra has something going on in it that's not healthy. And so sometimes it can feel like I'm just giving bad news. But also, it's an exam. It's the exam for your energy. So if someone comes in to me for chiropractic care, I'm going to do a chiropractic exam. And I'm going to find how does your arm move? Can you lift it like this without pain? Um, I was just working on somebody the other day and she said, oh, I can do the, ow, that hurts. And then I did click, click. I did a couple of different adjustments on her shoulder. She was like, wow, I can do this now with no pain. I'm like, That's what it takes. It takes knowing where to go and how things are put together. And in the chakra system, it's the same. In the energy system, it's the same.
And the surprising thing to me is how many people have bought the lie that you're supposed to get old and infirmed and pain is normal.
Yeah. Normal doesn't mean, common doesn't mean normal. Common does not equal normal. Just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal. Oh, every kid gets ear infections. Not my kids. They were adjusted. Nobody got an ear infection. The first time my son threw up, he said, "What was that?" He didn't know what it was because he'd never done it before. And I said, "That's your body getting rid of something it doesn't want." He's like,
Really,
"Wow." I said, "Yeah, I could do that." So,
this is amazing, this body. And so, you know,
yeah.
because I'm so far down the road,
Mhm.
it's hard for me to find people who can actually read for me.
Yes.
And when we made this appointment, I got on the yoga mat within like an hour, and all I could think about was how excited I was to have this appointment, how excited I was. And that is when things in my hips went to a whole new level of opening. And I kept thinking, and I was like, I think that this is already a process. This is a really powerful process. Yesterday, same thing. Today, same thing.
Yeah, because we're going right in there. And it's amazing. I didn't sit down to do the reading today until, right before we were scheduled. But we were talking about this before, as soon as you say yes to it, things start to change. They just start to happen. And so it can be that easy experience of like, okay, things really need to change. I just did this the other day. I'm really upset. I need to, get things moving here. Things aren't moving. I need them moving. I'm like saying to my husband, I'm such a failure. I'm saying all these things. And then he's going, yeah, but that's not what you would tell somebody. And like, no, but I have to go there to get to the other place. So sometimes we have to do that. And that's okay. It's just that we don't want to make that the habit that you have to go all the way down. And I know the other thing I was going to say about going high, when they go low, we go high. That's good, and we should do that, but we don't want to do a spiritual bypass where we ignore the negative that we have and pretend like we've dealt with it when we really haven't.
So this is what my process is at this moment with all of that. Because I am a zero spiritual bypass girl. I'm not impressed. I've seen,
Yeah,
and it's deadly.
it is deadly.
What we have to do, and I was talking with my yoga teacher this morning, I feel like I'm working the hardest sadhana of my life.
Mhm.
Because you see, I know a lot about history, and another piece of my trauma came out of the Project 2025 crowd. I know them better than they know themselves
Mm,
because I know where they started.
mm.
So being present and dealing with the fact that real people are really suffering, and we can call this all an illusion, and that is a spiritual bypass at this level.
Mhm. It is.
Being present and aware of what's going on, but not allowing it to dysregulate your nervous system.
That's the trick. Yeah, we can be aware. We don't have to not watch the news. We can listen to it. We can understand it. And I tell people all the time when they first start working with me, if it's your parents, can you stay away from them for a little bit so that we can get some work done before you get wounded again? Because there's times when I've worked with people and they just keep getting rewounded and rewounded. I'm like, you're going to have to take a break. Take a news break, do a fast on the news for a couple of weeks. You're going to know if there's something you need to know. Don't worry, you'll know. But you need to be able to give yourself a break from that so that you can do the healing. If you don't, then you're just rewounding yourself constantly.
I
Very
watch
important.
nothing. I watch Jim Costa for about an hour a week, and that's all I can take. But you can't miss it. So when I
Yeah.
was in California, I got a mantra from my guru. That's a very old mantra. It was one of the first ones she used. I choose to feel good. So after I do that, and that's why probably all this energy is all intermingled down there, because I'm so in the process of you lean in until it starts to get too hot, and then you got to come back and go, I choose to feel good. It's easy to spiritually bypass. It's so
Very easy. And the techniques that I use in my healing, intuitive soul healing method, I use a lot of different techniques to go as deeply as we can into there and face it, because that's the courage part. You got to be able to face these things and know that your molecules aren't going to fly apart. You're not going to melt down. You might cry a lot. You might laugh a lot because you're now free and you realize how negative things have been for you. And I've had this happen so many times where we do a clearing and the person breaks down because now they can feel what they weren't feeling before. And that's cleansing. So crying is cleansing. I've had people have anxiety attacks with me, and we can bring them out of the anxiety attack by simply having them do the breathing. And the breath is so important because it connects you to life. You can live without food for a while, you can live without water for a while, but 4 minutes without breathing. So every time you put attention on it, you're saying yes to life. So why not do that? Simple, simple, simple. So try to keep it simple and make sure that people know that they're not alone. And when I work with people one-on-one, if they get my phone number, they can text me anytime. I'll call them back. We want to make sure that they're getting the clarification, the support, and the celebration that they deserve for the things that they're doing that are getting them to move forward.
yeah,
So
that recognition piece
all
is
of that's available to you too.
thank you, thank you, thank you. This was amazing. Again, like I said, it's very hard for me, as long as I've been doing the work, to find someone that can read for me.
Mhm.
So, and you are just top shelf, and I appreciate it so, so much.
Thank you so much, Sharada.
You get the whole being piece, the energetic part of the being, the physical part of the being. And you take it as sacred, because so many people treat this body as though it's a disposable Bic lighter. Well, okay, we can talk about this spiritual philosophy that this is all an illusion and make that argument. But while we're in it, it is one of the most powerful spiritual and sacred tools that we have to give our gift.
Mhm. And if we pay attention to what we're feeling and not try to dismiss the feeling or disregard it, it will lead us to where we need to be, because that's our GPS. That's
Oh,
how we find out where we are. Does this feel good? I don't feel so good, right? So we want to pay attention.
Lord knows more people need to be able to feel good at their own demand
I
call.
believe that's our job.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you enjoyed this. I'm gonna let the recording stop. Wait a second. Let's do a prayer first, and then so that'll be on your recording. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. Imagine that you're breathing up into love, light, source energy, up into the center of the universe, wherever that is. And as you exhale, let that energy come back down through all layers, all levels, down through all the chakras, down through your feet, down into the core of the earth. As I say these words in the I am for you, Shar. God is all there is. Love is all there is. Light, life, and source energy is all there is. And I recognize right here and right now that I am one with God, love, light, life, and source energy. I'm never separated from this energy. If I feel separated, I know it's a false feeling. And all I have to do is breathe in, inspiration, inviting spirit in, and exhale gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful for this time that I put attention on my spirit, on my spiritual system, on my energy skeleton to find out where I'm at and to see it from another point of view, which is always good. and know that I have done the work and it's working for me. It's showing up in this scan, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for all that I've learned from this experience and from the experiences that have come before it. I'm grateful that I am being seen as a holistic being. I'm not just the sum of my parts. I'm more than that. And I'm so grateful that as a result of this, I can bloom even more confidently in my work and in my interactions with my fellow travelers here. I'm so grateful to be able to connect on all these levels with so many wonderful healers and just people in general, because everybody's a healer, everybody's a minister, everybody. So many receive the call, and a few of us heed it and answer the call, and I'm grateful that I have too. I'm grateful to my guides, my guardian angels, my spirit helpers, those who are cheering me on from the other side of that thin veil. And I authorize my subconscious to let it be so, to dissolve any constrictions or contractions keeping me from my highest good. I say that it's so, I let it go, and I know that it's already done. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is.
That was gorgeous.
Thank you. I like
Randy.
that beam of light on you too.
Oh, yeah, just that I can't see you at all. I'm having faith that you are there.